I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Let's kick her off here, especially if you are a guest. Welcome aboard. Let's take it from the ground up, shall we? My colleague, Dr. Joel Wallach, is the undisputed king of holistic medicine. Dr. Wallach's resume is too large for human comprehension. He's been published over 72 times. He has 11 books. He has the longest running health talk radio program in the world. And this book that Dr. Wallach wrote took 12 years of research to compile, cost $25 million. Wallach personally did 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies. The resulting publication, The Diseases of Exotic Animals, is now in the Smithsonian Institution in the United States as a national treasure. But Dr. Wallach is the founder of the longevity company that we're talking about tonight. The information that I'm giving to you tonight is inside of the context of Dr. Wallach's nutritional supplements, Dr. Wallach's pathophysiological research, and the holistic understanding of the pathoneogenesis, there's a fancy schmancy doctor word, the pathoneogenesis of disease. Because your perspective on life is everything. You can look at the sun rise and set and you could reasonably assume and conclude that the sun is moving around the earth, when it is in fact not. It seems to be moving around the earth as the earth rotates on its axis. Same information viewed from two different perspectives gives two different results. Well, it's no different in the scientific community. The scientific community in the free world has been dominated and monopolized by the pharmaceutical industry for the last 100 years, which operates through a reductionistic Newtonian physics paradigm. And that lens, that perspective on health is the cause for the majority of human suffering. Quite frankly, the MDs have just gotten it wrong. Now, $25 million of federally funded research through a holistic lens, 26,000 autopsies and 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies proved that the majority of chronic diseases are caused by inadequate nutrition and eating the wrong food. And if you intervene quickly enough, it's fixed with the proper nutrition and eating the right foods. It's no different than your automobile. You put diesel fuel in an unleaded tank, it's going to run like crap. If you never tune it up, it's going to break down. Well, the human body is no different. If you're suffering with a chronic disease, you don't have a bad gene. You have a bad doctor. It's that simple. Dr. Wallach's research uncovered the simple fact, and this is news to everybody. It shouldn't be, but it is. This is the single most important piece of datum that we bring to the table. In order for your body to be healthy, you need 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids. These are the building blocks of health. But a nutrient is referred to as essential if you need it, but you can't make it. Cholesterol is not essential. You need it, but your body makes it. Your liver makes cholesterol. Bet you didn't know that. Cholesterol is an extremely important nutrient for health, but because the body can make it, it's not essential. Well, the essential nutrients, the minerals, the vitamins, essential fatty acids, and amino acids, you need, but your body can't make them, which leads to one of life's greatest tragedies. Oh, and by the way, if you stick around longevity long enough, you will see this slogan everywhere, 90 for life. Well, that's what this refers to. The 90 for life slogan refers to the 90 essential nutrients that are necessary to maintain and optimize your health and your life. Only problem with the 90 essential nutrients is that you can't get them all from food. You've been duped. Betty Crocker was not a doctor. Monsanto does not have your best interests at heart. And your medical doctor has no training, no experience, no appreciation, and no respect with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. So the information that I'm giving tonight, your medical doctor is clueless about. Clueless about. More's the pity. The reason that it is impossible to get all 90 essential nutrients from food is because the lion's share are minerals. These are things like calcium and magnesium and zinc and sulfur. The problem with minerals is the only person that can make them is God. Minerals are found in the soil. Sometimes they're in the water, right? But how do you think they got there? Because they washed out of the soil. Plants can't make minerals and animals can't make minerals. They're crushed, disintegrated rocks. They come from the earth. Of dust we are made, and to dust we shall return, right? The basic building blocks of the human body are minerals. Big time minerals. But minerals exist in the soil in veins. You know, like the chocolate in chocolate ripple ice cream. Minerals are not evenly spread out over the surface of the planet, right? Here's a map of selenium deposition in the U.S. In this particular map, if it's pink, there's a lot of selenium. Here's the legend over here. And the further down the chart we go, the less and less selenium there is. So if you're eating 100% organic vegetables grown here, there's no selenium in them. If you're eating them grown here, well, there's a little, but if you're eating them grown here, eureka! You hit the mother lode. Trying to get all of your mineral needs met by eating from the 4 food groups is a fool's errand. It's a crapshoot. It's a roll of the dice, because there is no place on planet Earth that all 60 minerals exist in the topsoil. And the farmer isn't paid to put minerals in the soil. Which leads to the inevitable conclusion that everybody is nutrient deficient. And by everybody, I mean everybody. If this tank represents your body's nutrient needs, in order for you to be healthy, it's got to be topped off every day with the 90 essential nutrients, filled right to the brim. In order for your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and throat, for your brain and for your heart, for your kidneys, for your liver, for your gallbladder, for your nerves, for your skin, for your bones and joints to function the way that nature intended, your body needs 90 nutrients every day. But because nobody knows this, and because everybody relies on drug-crazy MDs for their medical care, most people have less than 2/3, less than 1/3 of the tank filled, 2/3 empty. You can fill about 1/3 of your body's nutritional needs from eating from food and drinking things, eating and drinking. About 30%, 33% more or less. But hey, then comes the stress of life. Viral stress, bacterial stress, lions and tigers and bears, weather, aging, emotional stress, financial stress, political stress. Life is a great big bowl of stress. You experience the stress of life, boom. Burns right through your nutrients, boom. Burns right through your nutrients. So now you're running on nutrient fumes and things in your body start to break. So what do? You're up against it. You bring your body to an MD. I mean, bless their hearts. They're good at surgery. They're good at trauma. They're good at infectious disease. Surgery when it's necessary. But because they don't know this and they have no conceptual understanding about the relationship between medical nutrition and health, they're clueless about this. So your body's broken and symptomatic and they throw a drug at it. And then another drug, and then another drug, and then another drug, and then you die. And this is what we call the best medicine in the world. You've got to be kidding me. This is why not only is the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States MD-directed medical treatments, but the leading cause of death. the leading cause of death in the United States. MD-directed medical treatments. For goodness sake, there are almost 300 diseases caused by not enough calcium. Here's the short list. You're suffering from one of these diseases, you don't have a bad gene, you have a bad doctor. You put calcium and a bunch of other minerals back in the body in appropriate doses, these issues resolve spontaneously. Because the fundamental difference between the holistic vantage point and the MD vantage point, which is reductionistic, is that MDs believe that once you're sick, you're screwed and your body cannot fix itself. Your best possible solution is to intervene with symptom-suppressive man-made drugs and surgery, and more drugs and surgery, and more drugs and surgery until you're dead. It's good for the drug companies and good for the hospitals. Good for the insurance companies, not so good for you. Now, the holistic medical model argues that the human body knows how to fix itself, the human body wants to fix itself, and that all that's necessary most of the time is to give the body the raw materials necessary to get the job done and get the heck out of the way. Now, once you've augmented your body's nutrient stores and that tank is topped off, acupuncture, homeopathy, chiropractic, herbal medicine works like a charm. But often it's not even necessary, because your body is trying to fix itself. It just doesn't have the stuff it needs to do it. And this is why we suffer. Because your medical doctor doesn't know about this and doesn't care about this. And the drug companies certainly don't want you to know about this. And if you think we have a free medical market in the free world, you've got your head in the sand. The medical market in the world since the 1920s has been dominated and monopolized by the MDs and the pharmaceutical concerns. The MDs legislated themselves into first place with drug money. And the only reason that they remain in first place is because we do not have a free market. For goodness sake. Now listen, we've done the heavy lifting for you. Dr. Wallach's done the heavy lifting. Dr. Wallach took the research that he did over the course of 12 years, 26,000 autopsies, think you could top that, and parlayed it with 30 years of clinical experience to come up with boilerplate foundation medical nutrition health recovery protocols, which we're disseminating to anybody who wants to listen. Because you are suffering under two delusions. Number one, your MD is the undisputed king of medicine and everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack. And number two, healing is a complicated, sophisticated process that should only happen in multi-million-dollar high-tech facilities. Harumph. Well, guess what? Surgery is complicated. Healing is easy. Your body knows how to fix itself and your body wants to fix itself. So here's what we recommend. One Healthy Start Pack contains all 90 essential nutrients. The recommendation for optimal health, One Healthy Start Pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. This supplement is just the minerals. It's $20 a bottle. It represents 66% of your nutrient needs for $20. I spend $20 a week on coffee. But it doesn't stop here. Remember, healing is easy. Your body knows how to fix itself. Your body wants to fix itself. So thanks to Dr. Wallach's tutelage, we have developed a number of healthy packs which we use under different sets of physical stress and circumstances. So if you're dealing with a blood sugar issue, the recommendation, One Healthy Blood Sugar Pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. You don't need an office visit. You don't need a consultation. You don't need blood work. You don't need a CT scan. You need to nutrify your body. You're dealing with a bone or a joint issue? Guess what? We've got you covered. You got a concentration or an old ticker problem? Guess what? We've got you covered. Heartburn, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel, Crohn's disease, inflammatory bowel disease, gallbladder troubles, guess what? We've got you covered. Now, part of your brain doesn't want to accept what I've just said to you. It can't be that easy, Dr. Glidden. Can't be that easy. Well, guess what? It is. You stick around with us long enough, you will see and hear testimonials which will bring you to tears. And you should also know that in the United States, testimonials are illegal. Health testimonials are illegal in the United States. You cannot give a health testimonial in the United States legally. If you're beginning to see the picture, you should be extremely angry. Now, tonight's lecture is about the skin. So we're going to start to talk about skin health now. But I needed to give it a context and a foundation for the new folks to understand what the heck we're talking about. This is all seen through the lens of holistically applied medical nutrition. Holistically applied medical nutrition is what we are talking about and what we're focused on here tonight. It is a completely different understanding of the same data points. Just like looking at the sun from the wrong perspective or the right perspective gives you a clue. Well, if you're dealing with a skin condition for more than a year, it's pretty safe to assume that the perspective that your medical professional has brought to bear on it is incorrect. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the skin condition. And keep in mind, your MD is not trained how to heal your skin or anything else in your body. It is not their concern. Their concern is how to manage your symptoms with drugs. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. A medical doctor doesn't even know how to cure heartburn. They can manage it with the little purple pill, right? But they can't cure it. Now, I want you to think long and hard about that. You are paying hard-earned money every month in the form of medical insurance premiums to give you access to a system of medicine, the practitioners of which don't even know how to cure heartburn. And you appear to be comfortable with that because you continue to do it. And to the profession that doesn't know how to cure heartburn, we've given $600 billion to come up with a cure for cancer. Now, shoot me now. We need our heads examined. We've taken the wrong dog to the hunt. We didn't even know there was another dog, which is why I give webinars like this frequently. Because my people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. This is not old-fashioned nutrition. This is new-fashioned, science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition delivered by licensed holistic physicians with decades of experience. So listen up. Here we go. Let's get her done and talk about the skin. That's why we're here, right? All right. Now, a little anatomy is never a bad thing. Don't worry, there will not be a test. Here's the top of your skin. The skin basically has 3 functional layers. There's a bunch of sub-layers, but that gets too technical. We've got the top of the skin, which is called the epidermis. That's the part that you see. Then right below that, we've got the dermis. That's where most everything happens. And then below that, we've got the hypodermis, which is where a lot of the fatty tissue and the blood lives. Right? three basic layers to the skin, and the layers are infiltrated by connective tissue and fat. Now, in order for the skin to be healthy, it needs 90 essential nutrients. It needs the 90 essential nutrients. That's all that it needs. There's no magic here. The skin needs the 90 essential nutrients, and it also needs you to stop eating food that's hurting it. The same way that you wouldn't put diesel fuel in an unleaded engine, well, you don't want to put the wrong fuel in the tank, because if you do, it's going to hurt different parts of the body. So our basic premise here is clean up your diet, give the body the 90 essential nutrients, and get the heck out of the way, and your body will fix itself. Liver spots. Liver spots. See this fatty tissue here, this yellow stuff? It lives in the dermis and the hypodermis. This is fat. It makes your skin squishy and spongy and soft. Liver spots is oxidative damage to the fatty tissue in the skin. It's oxidative damage to the fat in your skin. And when that happens, the fancy schmancy doctor term is lipofuscin. And liver spots are called liver spots because their color is the same color as the liver. Their pathogenesis has nothing at all to do with the liver. This is not an indication of the health of your liver. It's got nothing to do with it other than it's the same color. Liver spots is oxidative damage to the fatty tissue in the hypodermis and the dermis. You know, you cut an apple and leave it on the countertop, it turns brown, the skin, the exposed fruit. That's oxidative damage. Wine turns to vinegar, that's oxidative damage. Iron turns to rust, that's oxidative damage. Oxidative damage is caused by consistent consumption of all the wrong foods. Consistent consumption of all the wrong foods causes oxidative damage. And your body needs to fight the oxidative damage with antioxidants. That's how they got their name. So when faced with liver spots, the recommendation is the Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack, Extra Glucogel, and Selenium. Now I want to explain this for the newcomers. Well, first things first, the Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack is the basic Healthy Start Pack, which are these three products, plus this, Cell Shield RTQ. The Cell Shield RTQ has three different bioflavonoids in it, resveratrol, turmeric, and quercetin. And one capsule has 8,000 antioxidant ORAC points, which is a big deal. 8,000 antioxidant ORAC points. In order to optimize health, our recommendation is 20,000 ORAC points a day. One capsule of the Cell Shield gives 8,000 ORAC points. So if you take 3 of those a day, you're good to go. Oh, by the way, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which is a part of the Healthy Start Pack, 2 scoops has 6,000 ORAC points. So 6,000 and 16,000, that's 22,000. So if you do 2 scoops of this, which is the recommended daily dose, and 2 of these capsules, you have fulfilled your body's antioxidant needs. Now, the skin is made out of sulfur-bearing molecules. Glucosamine sulfate, chondroitin sulfate, and to a lesser extent something called hyaluronic acid. Interestingly enough, the skin and the cartilage are made from the same things. It's just denser concentrations of it. You know, like there's a difference between water and ice. It's the same stuff, just different densities. Well, your skin and your connective tissue, the stuff that's in your joints, is ligaments and tendons, is made from the same stuff. It's just different concentrations and densities of it. This product, Glucogel, provides the sulfur-bearing molecules that your skin needs. So what does your skin need? Your skin needs the 90 essential nutrients and a little extra sulfur-bearing molecules, most of which it can get from food. But if you're suffering with a chronic illness, we give you a leg up. If your skin is suffering with a chronic condition, we give it a leg up, so to speak, by giving it extra sulfur-bearing molecules and the secret sauce, selenium. Because selenium activates your body's own natural antioxidant. This is like the 1-2 punch. You get the antioxidants from the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Cell Shield, and you stimulate your body's own antioxidants, and that's a fantastic thing to do. If you do this program and you have liver spots, expect them to be mostly gone in 6 months, and a noticeable improvement within 90 days. Acne. Now, here's what the medical doctors tell you that it is. Now remember, the proper perspective is everything, right? You've been fooled. The medical professions tell you that the main cause of acne is excessive production of male hormones, which causes the glands in your skin to overproduce this oil, and it's the overproduction of oil that somehow clogs the pores, and then the pores become infected. But it doesn't explain how they could become infected if they're clogged, and it never explains why there's an overproduction of the hormones in the first place. Well, what made that happen? What is it, puberty? No, I'm sorry, puberty isn't a disease. It's a time of life. Menopause is not a disease. It's a time of life. If your body is nutrified and firing on all 16 cylinders, it should be able to handle puberty and menopause and the childbearing years, not a problema. But the MDs have you convinced that your body has all of these built-in flaws, because their belief is your body is a coincidental amalgamation of biochemicals that came together in an antediluvian swamp millions of years ago, stimulated by a bolt of lightning, and then evolved into you. And if you buy that logic, I've got a bridge for you for sale. And it's going at a hot price. They'll also go on to tell you, with acne, that as the pore gets clogged, the sebaceous glands continue to pump out this stuff, and then an infection develops, but they never tell you how the bacteria got there or what's feeding the bacteria or any of this at all. They're just making crap up as they go along. It has nothing to do with the production of oil. Zero. It has everything to do with sugar levels in the blood. Now listen, in everybody's skin, in everybody's digestive tract, there's good bacteria and bad bacteria, and yeast and fungus and all kinds of crap in and around the body all the time. When the sugar levels should be here in the blood, but they're here, the bacteria that are naturally present chow down, and they feed and they breed, because bacteria love sugar, as does every cell of your body. You couldn't bat an eyelash without sugar. The problem is not sugar, it's the levels of sugar in the blood. In order to maintain healthy blood sugar levels, your body needs nutrients, especially minerals. So if you need this many minerals, but you've only got this many, and you drink a glass of orange juice, natural sugar, organic, the sugar's going to bottleneck in your bloodstream, build up, and that's going to feed the bacteria that's in your skin. Voila. I don't care if you're 5 years old, 15 years old, or 105 years old. If there's too much sugar in the blood, you're gonna have a skin problem. Now, different people's genetic makeups make different people's bodies have different strengths and weaknesses. So some people with a blood sugar imbalance get bad skin stuff. Some people with a blood sugar imbalance get really bad sleep and mood problems. Some people with bad sugar issues get gangrene and their toes fall off. There's a lot of variables at play here, but the fundamental thing that affects acne is the presence of sugar in the blood, which has usually nothing to do with how much sugar you eat and everything to do with how efficient your body is at metabolizing it. Now, you know, I have to take that back a little, because in one Coca-Cola there's 7 tablespoons of sugar, and that's too much. And you know, sugar frosted flakes for breakfast, and Sunny D, and a Coca-Cola, and Twinkies, and Wonder Bread for lunch, and an ice cream sandwich for dessert. It's too much sugar. The root thing here is too much sugar. So what do? In the face of acne? It's easy. You support and promote the structure and function of your body's ability to metabolize sugar. You give the healthy blood sugar pack and selenium. Because the selenium supplement has the minerals in it that your body needs to metabolize sugar, a little extra punch, as does this product right here, the Sweeties. So this is a 1-2 punch for blood sugar health. Usually all that's necessary to make acne dramatically get better, if not go away completely, is the healthy blood sugar pack, selenium, and eliminate the 10 bad foods. Now, to get a list of the 10 bad foods, log on to my website. I'll show you how to do that at the end. Sign up for my free newsletter. We're getting there. But this is how we handle acne. Now, I don't have a picture of this, but Longevity also has a product called Pure Works Foam. It's an antibacterial oil-based foam that you use to put on your hands when you're traveling and during flu season to kill any extraneous viruses or germs that you might be picking up. It's an excellent product. It's called Pure Works Foam. If you have a child or anyone in your family that's suffering with acne, you can put the foam on the parts of the body that are infected, that have acne. Because remember, the culprit is a little bacteria. And we can kill the bacteria topically with the Pure Works foam while we're working from the inside out to fix it. It's not a bad combination. Eczema. Here's what the MD tells you it is, and they're half right. The MD tells you that there are allergens that come in from the outside like the invading Mogul horde. It's an allergic reaction to something in the environment. It's the bad soap. It's the bad laundry detergent. It's the bad polyester dry cleaning stuff. Nonsense. It's nonsense. And why nobody ever holds their pathophysiological feet to the fire is beyond me. The main cause of an eczematous eruption is an allergy to wheat and a chronic deficiency in essential fatty acids. That's it. It's nothing more than this. Now remember, the skin needs 90 essential nutrients, 2 of which are the essential fatty acids. And we also need to stop eating food that's gumming up the works. So if you're suffering with eczema, throw the pine tar away, throw the prednisone away, take the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for body weight, extra selenium, and eliminate wheat. And we're getting there. The treatment, in order to support and promote the structure and function of the skin, either in the face of eczema or psoriasis, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. because these are two arms of the same octopus, coming out in different manifestations because of, again, too many variables to predict. So the MD's explanation for psoriasis is that dead skin cells build up on top of the skin, but they have no reason on God's green earth why that happens. Now you, not knowing anything about human pathophysiology, if you had to guess why skin is dying, what would you think? I'll give you a minute. Not enough nutrients. Why does your skin die? Because you have a voodoo curse? Someone's sticking a Cupid doll? Is it because of the bad skin gene? That's what the MD wants you to think. It's simply because that part of your skin has run out of the stuff it needs to function properly, and it's your weak link. Boom, you got psoriasis. But the MD, looking at the sun, thinks it's the sun that's moving and never questions their own perspective. So all that the MD has for either of these conditions is symptom-suppressive topical creams and internal anti-inflammatories, which will hurt you. And neither of which get to the root cause of the problem, which is chronic undiagnosed nutrient deficiencies. Well, you know, you can't fix stupid, so what are you going to do? Psoriasis is a double hit. It's oxidative damage to the skin and nutrient deficiencies piled on top of each other like a runaway train. For goodness sake, how do we know this? Because we eliminate these conditions all of the time. But according to the Food and Drug Administration, we can't cure them. So I'm not saying we can cure eczema or psoriasis, but I am saying I can make the symptoms go away 100%. In order to support and promote the structure and function of the skin in the face of a diagnosis of psoriasis or eczema, if you're paying attention, you already know what I'm going to say. The anti-aging healthy start pack, glucogel, and selenium. Plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. Because healing is easy. Your skin wants to fix itself. It's just run out of the stuff it needs. Listen, if you're trying to build a house and you've got the permits and the blueprints and the carpenters and the lumber and the nail guns, but no nails, you're out of luck, Charlie. You need the nails. Well, your body just can't create things out of thin air. It needs the nails. Give it the nails. Clean up your diet and let a miracle happen. It's not even a miracle. I mean, I take that back. It's not a miracle. It's just normal function, which is so abnormal in our culture now, it seems miraculous. Oh my God, that guy's got healthy skin. Whoo! He must have the healthy skin gene. No. He's nutrified. And he's not putting crap in his body because Ma Betty Crocker told him to. Moles, skin tags, warts. No, not that kind of mole. This kind. These again are caused by oxidative damage and viral stress and nutrient deficiencies. Oxidative damage, viral stress, and nutrient deficiencies are at the root cause of all of these problems. Now, if you have a mole, a skin tag, or a wart, in addition to cleaning up your diet and giving your body the 90 essential nutrients and the appropriate healthy start pack, you can make a topical paste out of selenium and colloidal silver. The selenium is a little gelatin capsule. You can break it apart. You dump a little of the selenium powder into a little contact lens case. drop some colloidal silver on it, and it'll turn bright purple immediately. Make a paste, apply that paste topically wherever the skin tag, the mole, or the wart is, and put a Band-Aid on top of it. I'm going to repeat that procedure 3 or 4 times a day. Within 14 days, it'll pop right off. Guaranteed. Even if it's a melanoma. But remember, it's illegal for anyone but a dermatologist or an oncologist to treat skin cancer. So I'm not recommending that you treat skin cancer. The medical professionals will also tell you, beware the sun. Oh my God, the sun is evil. The sun is filled with cosmic radiation, and sun exposure creates death. Be very afraid of the sun. Well, if this were true, then everybody living on the equator would have skin cancer. But guess what? That ain't the way that it is. They'll also tell you that SPF is your friend and that you really need to lather up, baby. You need to cover yourself head to toe with that SPF. You need to take the SPF 365,000 stuff, man, and just slather it all over your body. They'll tell you that it's the photons that are the problem. It's the photons. Be very afraid of the photons. Although the scientific evidence is exactly the opposite. Oh, by the way, if you buy sunscreen greater than 15 or 20, you've just been played. Because the effectiveness of sunscreen tops off at right around 15 to 20. There's virtually no difference in the protection between SPF 20 and SPF 3 million. But, you know, Banana Boat wants you to think that there is. So again, let's try to take a breath and look at this from the proper perspective. Now here's the statistical occurrence of skin cancer in the U.S. This is just in the United States. By the way, on this is the graph here. The more red it is, the worse it is. Green is really pretty good. You want to be green in this case. Now, if it was sun exposure, you would think everyone in Florida would have more skin cancer than anyone else. But look at this. What about Louisiana and Mississippi? Ever been to Louisiana or Mississippi? You know how hot it is there? You know how much sun they get? A lot. But look at this. Oregon. Oregon has high levels of skin cancer. Oregon? You know, I lived in Seattle for 12 years, which is in the Pacific Northwest, right next to Oregon. The climate isn't much different in Oregon. The last time that I was there, it rained for 93 days in a row. Not a lot of sun exposure there, folks. I'm telling you. Let's take a look at the world, shall we? Now, yellow is good. Orange, not so good. Red, death. Hands down, the largest dissemination of melanomas worldwide is in Australia and New Zealand. They take the record. They are so far out in front of every other country. It's not even close. Keep this in mind as we move forward. What about these equatorial countries? You would think that if it had anything to do with that, then it would be relative that countries right around here, where the equator is, would have the greatest amount. But they don't. It's got nothing to do with solar radiation. Now, cancer of any type, skin cancer, lung cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, pancreatic cancer, I don't care. One of the main causes of cancer is damage to the DNA. Now, the DNA is the part of the cell that gives the cell information on how to reproduce itself. So if you damage the DNA, one of the things that happens is the cell can't stop reproducing itself. It just makes copies and copies and copies and copies and copies, and you get a tumor. Maybe it's malignant, maybe it's benign. You get a tumor because you've damaged the DNA. Now, ultraviolet light can damage the DNA. But in order for ultraviolet light to damage DNA, the exposure has to be massive, long, and intense. Now, a little bit of meteorology here. We've got the Earth, we've got the atmosphere, and we've got space. The top part of the atmosphere is capped off by a protective coating called the ozone layer. Everybody's heard about the ozone layer. What the ozone layer does is shield us from ultraviolet radiation from the sun, which is a good thing. If tomorrow the ozone layer disappeared, within a couple of years, everybody on the planet would have skin cancer. Because it's too much radiation, too much radiation. Couldn't handle it. But remember, we have evolved on planet Earth. We are part of planet Earth. Our bodies have wisdom and intelligence, and they know how to handle the stress of sun when everything's hunky-dory. However, when you dissolve the ozone away, and there ain't no more ozone, the country directly underneath where the ozone hole is going to get massive UV radiation. And that's what we think causes the New Zealand and the Australian numbers. It's the ozone hole burning away in a certain part of the planet. Which is backed up by another interesting datum point, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Now, you've all heard about UVA versus UVB, and it's nonsense. Because the only difference between UVA and UVB is how deep the photons reach. UVB only affects the dermis, and UVA gets a little deeper. But remember, it's not the solar radiation, it's other things and the intensity of it. So if you're living in Australia, you may want to put a lot of sunscreen on, but it doesn't seem to be working. And I'm working up to this. Let's talk about sunscreen. The first invention of sunscreen was by Franz Gruyter in the 1940s. It was zinc oxide. And zinc oxide is a pretty good sunscreen, blocks almost 99% of the UVA and UVB, and it doesn't absorb into the skin. That's why they got away from using it, because it's messy. It stays on the skin, it doesn't absorb in, so you can get it all over your clothes and your beach towel, and now you've got sand on your nose and you don't look that good. So they started to get away from zinc oxide for purely cosmetic reasons, pun intended, and we went to sunscreens, which are loaded with crap. Parabens in sunscreen have been proven to mess with your hormones. Proven. Oxybenzone has been linked to hives, contract dermatitis, and damage to the epidermis, to the upper layer of the skin. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's put a lot of that stuff on. Retinol palmitate has been shown to actually increase the rates of cancer with UVA exposure. So sunscreen is stupid. And here's the clincher. the rise in melanoma in Australia is juxtaposed against the fact that the medical establishment there has been telling everybody for decades to go crazy with sunscreen. And even though everybody there has gone crazy with sunscreen, they have more melanoma than anybody in the planet. Maybe it's the ozone, I don't know. It's not the sun. Maybe it's really intense radiation because of the break in the ozone, but we don't know. But what we do know is sunscreen provides no protection whatsoever. And there's so much bad crap in it, it's a fool's errand to even consider doing it. Remember, the proper perspective brings everything into focus. Now, let's close it out here with some common sense. If you were to go out into sub-zero weather, you would not do that in your bathing suit. You would bundle up against the stress of the cold weather, right? You'd bundle up. Well, if you're going to expose yourself to the stress of life with an eye towards keeping your skin healthy, then it would be prudent for you to guard your body against the stress of life by giving your skin 100% of the nutrients it needs to function 100% of the time. And if you do that, you're going to walk. There's going to be no problem with any type of a skin condition whatsoever. Remember, healing is easy. And our basic fundamental premise here is, in order to have a healthy body, you need to fill your nutritional tank up. So, in order to optimize the structure and function of the dermis, the epidermis, and the hypodermis, the recommendation is one healthy start pack, one anti-aging healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, one bottle of glucogel per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and one bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month. That's a really good place to start, because you're never, ever, ever going to get away from the stress of life. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. Unless you want to be like the bubble boy. So it's better to fill that tank up. Give your body everything it needs to make itself healthy. And lastly, eliminate the 10 bad foods. So to get the list of the 10 bad foods, just go to this website, drglidden.com. Sign up for my newsletter, and as soon as you sign up for the newsletter, you're directed to a page where you can download a document called Good Food, Bad Food. It's free. And there's a little video there that explains why the bad foods are bad. Check it out. Knowledge is power. Give your body the raw materials that it needs to support and promote its structure and function. Stop eating crap that's gumming up the works, and let the healing begin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Please get with the person that invited you to this webinar. See if you can fit with us. There's two ways you can work with us. We have a health opportunity. We have a business opportunity. We're looking for people to help spread our message of health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, because people are suffering needlessly. And the drug companies don't want you to know this. That's why we have to do webinars like this. There's only a couple of hundred doctors like me in the whole world that know this. So we need your help to spread the word, if you feel so inclined. Otherwise, just talk to the person who brought you here, tell them what your health concern is, and they will advise you as to our science-based, clinically verified, boilerplate health recovery protocols to support and promote the structure and function of your body. You're going to love how you feel. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny on my radio show tomorrow. 3 o'clock Central Time. She is the queen of all things having to do with vaccines. Don't miss it. It's going to be a great show. I'll see you around campus, everybody. Thanks so much for your time.